like to call this meeting to order. I'll start.
You okay down there?
We're awake, Paige. We're awake.
Oh, wait, I just want to make sure we all were listening. I'll start our meeting with our prayer and our pledge led by Mr. Cowart, please.
You bow your head with me, please. Heavenly Father, as we come to you today, we come to you asking for guidance and wisdom. Lord, we know that we make deliberations and we make decisions that affect lives and affect staff and students. Lord, we know what a humbling thing that is, and we ask that we always look to you first and foremost. Lord, I pray over everybody here tonight, so we're blessed tonight with students and the staff who excel, students who are state champions, students who are going to be state champions, and we're just so appreciative of being able to be here and recognize them here tonight. Lord, I pray for our legislators in Tallahassee as they make decisions that will affect us back here in Levy County and throughout the state. And I pray that they will make godly, wise decisions that will be beneficial for our students and our staff. I ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
To address the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Cowart. At this time, board members, do I hear a motion to adopt our agenda?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I would like to welcome everyone. We've got a great crowd. Thank you all for being here. We love seeing students and parents. Thank you all very much for being here. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Cowart to introduce Williston Middle High School.
Yes, ma'am. Before we get going, with our presentation, decided tonight that we had a great opportunity, so they wouldn't miss any school and they could come tonight. So we've got our state champion boys basketball team from Williston. So I'd love to have. Well deserved. So I watched these boys work hard all year long and through the summer and in the fall, so putting in time and workouts and seeing them. So I'd love for Coach Urban to come to the podium and introduce them and kind of talk a little bit about them.
Let's start with thank you for having us. We'll start left to right here like we did. Corey Jelks is senior for us. Nakai, glad to see Nakai Seabrook show up here. He wasn't here earlier with us, but he's a sophomore. Jackson Islam, sophomore, got it right this time, Jackson, remember. We've got Kyrie Edwards, a senior. Marcus Appling, a freshman. Greg Maxwell, a senior. Reggie White, a junior. Javon Brown, a junior. Kyler Lamb, a junior. And DeAndre Harvey, a freshman. And I got Corey Lamb, one of my assistants with me. We're missing 4 other coaches tonight, unavailable to be here, but all I got to say is I've received a lot of awards the past 2 weeks. I want to talk about this to start with because my wife asked me, what do you think about all this? I said, I think it would have been easier to lose because of all the things we've had to go through here, the preparation and everything to do it, but I would never change what we did this year. Without these guys, I received 0 awards, and you know that never gets out there. I did say it to in the local radio station last week that without these young men, all 12 of them, and our whole program, and my 5 assistant coaches, especially Corey, he's put in time and time and time with us, these young men, over and over throughout the summers, throughout the season. Without this group, I am nothing. Without the administrators hiring me, what a great opportunity for me as a head coach. I've been coaching for 26 years. 3 years ago, I came to Williston, and my goal was, in our meeting, was to win a state title. They asked me why I'd want to come to Williston. I said to win a state title. I said it'd probably take us 4 years. We're a year ahead of track. That was my goal as a coach, individual. But the big goal was mentoring young men, and this is a great group of young men in front of you. We went to Lakeland for 3 days. And you can ask Mr. Sandlin, our resource officer. Not once did he get a call. Not once did he have to interrupt anything. They're just the most outstanding young men I've coached in 26 years. As far as the season, how exciting could it be to be state champions, 25-7, do everything imaginable you can do as players and coaches. It's a dream season. It's a dream season, but we talk about being successful and carrying over into life. And with these young men, it's going to carry over into life, the game of basketball. They're going to be successful in life. And that's what we try to teach. And that's what we're about at Williston, is about teaching life lessons through the game of basketball. And I am so proud of this group of young men. So I'll end it at that. And like I said, I want to appreciate the Levy County, the community, Mr. Slim. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll say that right now. I've told you over and over, but I really appreciate it, Mr. Coward, same with you. We've met several times. Everything you've ever done has been great for our basketball program in our school. So, other than that, I'm done. You want to talk to any of the kids when any of the kids come up, or
Sure.
anybody? Corey, you want to say something real quick? No. Greg Maxwell will. Greg, come on up. Say a few things for us, Greg, please. He got nothing for. Hey, by the way, normally Greg, whatever he does, he'll prepare himself. We had a TV station come in and film us this year in our locker room after the season, and Greg was the only player that had everything on his phone. He had his speech prepared before they started interviewing him. Everyone else is currently scrambling, and Greg's preparing a speech to make sure he was right. But Greg's one of our seniors, by the way, that transferred into us this year, and I think he's an example of what we're trying to do. He's changed. He went from and I don't want to put him on the spot, he went from a very, I felt a kid that was broken on the basketball court, kind of like a selfish kid at times on the basketball court, to being a kid that came to me and said, hey, Coach, we want to win a state title. That was our goal in the beginning. And he came to me late in that season and said, Coach, we want to win the state title. And it says a lot about him as a young man, coming together as a young man and believing in his team more than himself. And that's a lot of growth in a young man. So I'll leave it to Greg for a minute.
I'm Greg Maxwell, I'm a senior. I came from Trinity Catholic. The backstory behind this, I want to come back closer to home because there it wasn't really like home to me. And it was an opportunity at Williston, so I took the chance. And I was kind of nervous at first because coming from like high-end school to like rules.
Easy now.
I haven't signed your diploma.
But yeah, coming from high-end school to a rural school, it was kind of like different for me, and I just had to adjust. But Williston, I tell you, like they treat me like they show me a bunch of love, support. And everybody just kind of me, like they took me in. Like first day I came in, it was just crazy how like everything just changed. But about basketball, Coach Irvin, we had a talk before the season when I came in. He told me his expectations, and I told him my goals, what I want to reach, and we just stayed with the plan, and we came out on top. So thank you, Williston.
I know everyone's shy except when you're not in a room like this. One day you have to stand up here and speak, I'm sure. But if there's no one else, that's all we have.
Kyrie.
Kyrie. I know Kyrie.
You next. Oh, okay. You got to repeat.
A little nervous. My name is Kyrie Edwards. Senior guard. This year, I didn't expect to play basketball at all. I came football. It was God-led. I'm not gonna say what led me here. It was just a godly decision. But this basketball team has taught me so much. It made me a better man, better player, better everything. The guys, I would say they looked up to me. They fed off my energy. We had our ups and downs, but we somehow found our way conquering them. So this team just, if you would have seen us 2 months ago, you'd have been like, ain't no way this team can win a state championship. There's no way. It was not a team. A lot of people has a lot of growing up to do, but we end up coming together. Coach always told us that it's the team who clicks last minute, and we clicked at the right time, and we stayed champions. So first, I would like to thank God, and I would like to thank the community for taking me in, and thank my coaches for always believing in me and just being there for me. So thank you, Williston. Thank you, Levy County.
Everyone done? Like I said, I can't say enough about these young men. It'll be a memory in everyone's life as far as our coaching staff and these young men. I told them 10 years from now you realize how special this is. You can have all the statistics in the world, but when you walk back into Williston High School and you see that state championship banner with your name up there, it means a lot. And it's going to be a memory they'll never forget. It'll change your life. It's one thing we always talk about is being great and being greater tomorrow. And this is one of those building blocks for them in life. And that's our hope. That's our hope. They just become great young men and be very successful in whatever path they take. So, and we, like I said, once again, I want to thank everyone in Levy County. Thank you.
All right, let's line up here. Let's get a good photo. So come on, Mr. Whitehurst. So
I have a question. Who's the shadow boxing champ? Because I saw you guys, Kyrie. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta get in the front, sure.
Don't have to dump here.
That's why I heard about it. Good to have to talk to you. Howard can sing too, I heard. That church. Congratulations, y'all. Y'all scared me down there. I made it good. Don't be alive.
Congratulations, Coach. My hands are cold, sorry.
Oh, that felt good, thank you. Thanks, congratulations.
I'm really proud of y'all.
Congratulations.
Very good job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, way to go.
All right, thanks for helping out, man. Appreciate it. Good job.
We're proud of y'all. See, that's how that's. That guy.
See y'all later. Thank you. Sorry, really did work right now. Thank you.
Great presentation. We're all proud of those young men and what they've achieved. That's wonderful. At this time, I'll call Mr. Lott to our podium.
actually, we got one more thing. So
Oh, I
with
missed.
Williston, so at this point in time, so we've got Mr. Skipper and Ms. Harris coming forward, and they're going to share with us. So
You know, Wilson, we got all kind of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, I see that.
I know she's trying to skip over it too.
Yeah.
That's that Chiefland,
And
didn't it?
I'm not going to skip anything tonight.
Are you guys ready for it?
We are ready.
So last summer, Skipper became aware of a grant called the EET grant, and it's a grant that supports entrepreneurship education in classrooms. And so we felt that our programs could use some positive revamping and chose to combine entrepreneurial mindset with agriculture education. And we chose to do this through 3 steps. That's participating in school-based enterprises. The examples of those are the Animal Science Cow-Calf operation and the new vet assisting program and high school hounds, where our students would develop entrepreneurial skills through standards-based education in the agriculture classroom. So they're going to master standards through these real-life opportunities that are being supported by the EET grant. You can go ahead, next slide. So this is broken up into 2 pieces. We were able to combine this grant and apply it together so that it was a high impact grant. The total payout for the grant was $100,000 for our programs. And we've both used them in different ways, but what's unique about our program is that we do share a lot of students. And so we really are able to impact them in a lot of different ways. The ways that I am specifically impacting our students is through the vet assisting program. So I have 2 students with us that are going to share a little bit of what we've done this year. And I touched on it earlier, but we have school-based enterprises. So these are essentially real-world entrepreneurial opportunities that are done through our programs where students are able to look at a business-like situation in our classroom that will continue in the future to continue to build our program interest, but also hopefully support itself through these opportunities. So I'm going to call up Amanda Cook, and she's going to talk a little bit about how our vet assisting program started High School Hounds and the students' participation.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I am in the Vet Assisting 1 class. What's different? Oh, actually, no. I'm not going to say that. High School Hounds is a very business-like structure because we started out with having a plan. We split up into groups, as you saw in the last slide, and the groups are just our tables that Ms. Harris has put us in. And we each got to take a topic such as student jobs or like how to enroll, and we split it up to where it wasn't one person was doing everything. That was more group-based. How we decided our branding was everyone got a vote. Your group submitted a idea, and then the entire class got to vote on which one we thought was the best. High School Hounds, as you can see, won. We created a layout for our doggy daycare by when the dogs come in the door to when we distributed them to their classroom, we knew exactly what we were doing. This is basically our daily procedures and our checklist. Everything had a checklist. If there was a dog who was here, they were registered. There was a dog who wasn't there, they were registered that they weren't here. Our behaviors and sanitation plans were very thought out between everything from if a dog had turned into a undesirable behavior or if they had an accident. Our plans were very detailed, thanks to our students who had that specific task. And with all of this and the EET grant, our classroom now looks a little more chaotic, but it's all under wraps.
So kind of what she was talking about is our students, like she said, were divided up into groups based on interest. So our students at Williston have unique characteristics in the sense that we have students that are very artistic, some that are very detail oriented. So our students were broken up into essentially a board for our business, High School Hounds, and they presented to the class their idea for sanitation procedures, like she said, or it was the day-to-day activities that the dogs would take part in. And then that all came to a decision based on what the students decided, as well as my guidance as well, so that we ensured that we had a safe environment for all students, as well as our dogs, and that it was not only a safe environment, but an educational environment. So now I'm going to call up Carly Leckler, and she's just going to share a little bit with you about how the vet assisting program that is funded through this is directly related to what is happening in vet clinics in our county.
So my name is Carly Legler, and today I'm here to talk about how working in a vet clinic correlates with the classroom environment. Now, one thing I've noticed with working in a vet clinic is that it's extremely fast-paced, and there isn't a whole lot of time to analyze and be able to discern what exactly I am doing at the time, the what and the how and the why. So therefore, being able to come back into a classroom environment and really learn of the vaccines and the techniques and the diseases that are behind what I'm doing at my work has been extremely beneficial for me. And not only though has it been able to reinforce my knowledge of what I'm doing, but it's also taught me a lot of leadership skills in a workplace environment that I've been able to bring back to my classroom. In fact, one of our doctors, Dr. Garvey, has been extremely helpful in educating me about all the different aspects of being a veterinarian in the field. This has given me an opportunity to lead my class and educate them about what it is like to work in a vet clinic in a real life place. Therefore, it has allowed me to be a leader amongst my peers. And going back to Dr. Garvey for a second, when asking him about what he thinks the benefits of a program like this are in a high school, he said to me, it really seems like it can help students prepare for a college environment. With the veterinary field and veterinary medicine being such a competitive place, it's really helpful to understand both what exactly is going on in a field such as this, and it gives students a more involved opportunity to help them get into this program in the future. Therefore, overall, this has been a very beneficial program, and being able to both work in a veterinary field as well as learn in a classroom environment has helped me immensely in pursuing my passions of being a veterinarian.
Thank you, Carly. So at the beginning of the school year, some of our standards, no matter if it's animal science or vet assisting, relate to what career opportunities are there for our students. And I think in education, we hope that our students are going to be college bound to go on and do great things. But so many of our students have unique mindsets and end up in being business owners in our community. So the Merriment of Agriculture Education and this grant are providing our students unique opportunities to develop their entrepreneurship skills through participating in our programs. And then they can go on to have their own businesses, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the agriculture industry. Specifically thinking about the football players, I have Kyler and Mr. Harvey in my ag class. And while they're probably not going to go into the agriculture industry because that's not their focus, when they complete our program, they have the skills to go on to be entrepreneurs and make intelligent business decisions on their own, whether that's simply being a business owner or buying a home. So Mr. Skipper is going to share with you now about the animal science program and how that connects to the EET grant.
All right, so EET and Wilson Animal Science, just like Ms. Harris talked about, I guess it was about probably close to this time last year, late April, early May. My brother is an ag teacher at Santa Fe High School, and they got the EET grant the year before, and we hadn't reached the deadline yet, so I thought we could use it to, you can go to the next slide, shouldn't it? To kind of revamp some of the stuff in the animal science program. So the animal science program at Williston, ideally in 9th grade, we have students take agri-science foundations. Then their 10th grade class, animal science and services 2. And we combine the animal science services 3 and 4 because we listed it as a block period. That way we can go off campus to our land lab out at the airport. And out there we have, right now there's 17 cows out there. We try and run as close to a cow-calf operation as you can, producing some calves. All right, so the original plan with the EET grant is some of those cows at Land Lab, they were getting some age on them. I've been at Wilson 5 years, and there's some cows that still have calves every year, but when we go to clean out a water trough or something, there'd be some teeth in the bottom of the water trough. Pretty hard for a cow to eat Bahia grass if she doesn't have any teeth in her head. So we wanted to bring in some younger heifers and then use some of the remaining funds to revitalize some of those facilities out there to make it more efficient for students and maybe a little bit more modern day to something they might see in the industry. So our goals, original goals was we wanted 10 registered bred Angus heifers and then a little bit more efficient equipment like we said. But we had to pivot a little bit because, and pretty much set this thing up to be like Santa Fe's grant on the animal science side. Like they bought some azaleas and then propagated them and sold them. And so I was thinking I can buy cows and breed them and then sell calves. But the Department of Education does not buy hearts. They don't buy anything that's living or been alive unless it's a plant. So no animal stuff. So we shifted the animal science side of the grant to be more supplies and consumables used by both programs with some feed. We requested to build a new barn that will hopefully one day house some pens separate. Right now we park the tractors and stuff underneath the barn with the steer pin and stuff, so ideally we have an equipment barn and then the animal barn there to give the kids a designated area to prepare animals for fairs or exhibitions or whatever. One of the original goals written in, if we would have been able to secure the funds a little bit earlier, was we were going to, the end goal is we want to raise some registered calves to maybe put into a cow bull sale. That way kids can see a little bit of the seed stock side of the beef industry. Because, you know, when we only have 17 head of cows, we got to kind of find a niche market. So the idea was the registered side of it to get that niche market, and that's some of the equipment that we've requested. Creek feeder, make the calves gain weight a little bit better, feed them along and along, make the weaning process a little bit more seamless for them. And then a new squeeze chute with a palpation cage on the back of it, which that one doesn't have it. That way we can employ some artificial insemination techniques and maybe take the squeeze chute that we have now and put it at school to give kids at the schools and have a little bit more opportunity for hands-on experience, because like with the way our program's set up, kids don't get to really work with cows, with the exception of like the chapter steers, until they go off campus their 11th grade year for that animal science and services 3 and 4. The value added for our students is, so you can see the certifications we currently offer, those industry certifications that lead to scholarship opportunities. They allow our students to build a resume for college. Through this grant, we're going to add the ESB certification for our students to take. It's an entrepreneurship, small business certification offered through Certiport. If you go to that next slide. That's going to help our students ensure that they have a toolkit to succeed in the career landscape. It validates skills for students that are maybe don't think they have an opportunity to build a business, but maybe help them get some of those concepts down. That way maybe one day they can stay in Levy County and start an enterprise. Entrepreneurship, animal science, maybe we get a kid who his grandparents have 10 acres somewhere between Wilson and Bronson, and maybe they can figure out a little niche market for cattle, locally, and that would kind of be the end goal for the EET grant, animal science for Wilson. So I think that's all I got, unless you guys have any questions.
Sounds like a great program. They're doing wonderful things.
How many dogs are y'all seeing?
I was out for 7 weeks, unfortunately, because my son was sick, but we just set up our doggy daycare. So she touched a little bit about our students designed the layout so that we have 5 grooming stations. Ultimately, we're going to set it up where we have small dog days and large dog days so that we can ensure the safety of the dogs and that they have a safe playing environment. But we're going to start out small with about 5 dogs on each day. That way, the students have the opportunity to really grasp animal behavior and start to be able to recognize those things. And so as we continue to grow, those students will be able to add to that. And students will be very comfortable with being able to manage the doggy daycare and meet all of our needs, because some of the needs of these dogs are going to include grooming. Grooming, nail clipping, ear cleaning, things of that nature. Something that you would take your dog to a groomer for, you can now bring it to Wilson High School.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome.
You already have one day, right?
We did have a teacher day.
Teacher day.
Well, they'll all be staff dogs, but we had a small, soft opening last week to just kind of expose the kids and get them excited. It's been a little frustrating on the teacher side. The EET grant was a little bit of a challenge to be released. And so we've been telling our kids about this all year, getting them excited. And so they had the opportunity this past week to have a day where they got to experience what it might be like.
I thought it was a great presentation, but I want to say something. You young ladies did a great job. Sometimes, okay, everybody can look at me as a bad guy when I say this, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes some students get up there and you think, good Lord, we're even in the class. Y'all made it compelling. You made me want to listen, and I'm a person that ate up to ADD. So y'all are fantastic. I think y'all should be commended. You definitely are getting it.
Well, Ms. Cook was on the state-winning middle school department's procedure team last year.
She had moves.
Yeah.
She was good.
And Miss Legler, I went to school with her mom and dad, so.
Yeah. I'm sure she's not from Bronson. I mean,
no, she's
sure?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I really thought it was Bronson kids that snuck in there. So good.
No, Williston. So, yeah.
She's a Legler.
She's a Legler.
The Bronson connection.
Yeah.
She does have a Bronson connection.
I knew it was in there in the background. Thank you. You knew it was there. You knew it was there. Y'all did great. I thoroughly enjoyed y'all.
You did great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 6, Mr. Watt.
Don't Skipper have to stay?
Good cheer on the baseball game.
That's right.
Yep.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Probably 2 months ago, I was approached to see if the school board might be interested in selling a piece of property in Chiefland. You have a picture there. It's basically, knowing about Chiefland, it's sort of across the street from where Chiefland Farms plays. And so I talked to Mr. Coward about it. He said, well, move forward and see where it goes. And so I did some research. I have the research for you. This particular piece of property, the school board has had since 1936. It was donated by the Hardys in 1936. In 1949, a portion of it was deeded to the state of Florida for a right-of-way for Highway 129. And in 98, a portion that is across 129 was sold to Luther Beecham and H.C. Henderson of Chiefland as the highest bidder. The property had previously been used for FFA Land Lab. It's no longer used for that purpose. I did talk to the school, Mr. McClellan, to first of all say, hey, are we still using this? Is it used for any purpose? And currently it is not used, and they have no intention of using it in the future. So come to you tonight to ask if you would consider to declare that surplus. I did get some help from a local realtor to do an informal appraisal, and the price that they said it was would be worth would be $125,000. But I think we actually could get higher than that. So my inclination is to employ a realtor and start at $125,000 or better. So $125,000 would be the minimum cost for this piece of property if you're so inclined to go in that direction and list it for a 30-day period.
Any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm just looking over your shoulder. I didn't bring my copy with me. The $125,000 minimum. I know. I looked at some of the properties around that property. Can we remove this or best offer, or do you or best offer 125,000 or best offer with 125,000 being the minimum?
Right.
Okay, because or best offer to me looks like you can go below, would be below 125,000.
Yeah.
Just in my real estate.
I feel confident we'll get 125,000 at least, but I feel like if we list it, it could be higher than that.
Do we have to go through a realtor? Where I know commission will then be paid out. Do we have to do that, or could we do it as a
I think it's
for sale?
honestly in our best interest to get it right, to make sure our title searches, all that stuff is done through the realtor. It makes it a lot easier process. And by listing, again, by listing with a realtor, that's where you get the or better.
Yeah. Yeah, how do, like John, I mean, so what's the realtor, is it don't list it for 175 and know that 125 is our bottom offer, or how is, I mean, I'm like a little bit like Tim, it's weird to see that's your bottom or best offer, usually you kind of work down to like no lower than 125, so just curious on how it works.
They said their estimate based on their title search around and about was to list it at 125,000. But I mean, we could list it higher if you choose to do so, and then come down to 125 as our minimum.
That's how you say it. I mean, I negotiate something. I say, hey, this is my bottom number. I'm gonna start here, and no, I'll work down to there. I mean, usually, if that's your number, you're not people unless they get a bid more and people offer you above. That'd be the only comment I would have.
I feel like that could happen.
Right. Okay. Well, if that's the case, and it's a different world in real estate, so get more than one person wanting it, you go wherever.
So as a board, we're voting on just basically that it's
I'm not sure if
surplus?
there are two different motions here.
Right, there are.
First is to declare a surplus, and then the second, we could change the second as far as the price wherever you guys want. I'm just telling you from what I know, it's worth at least $125,000. It's only 3 acres. It does have water. It is zone commercial, C2. If you look on the book, it says no zoning, but my research has said that through the city is that it would be zone commercial C2. So that makes it significantly more valuable than residential or agricultural.
And the property adjacent was bought by the Diocese of St. Augustine. That was about a little over 2 acres.
With a house.
With the house. The
It's
house
valued
is
at
the
$200,000.
Right, and they got like $325,000 in June of '22.
But the house,
I don't know
the
how the
house
house
was the majority
was.
of that value, so
Okay.
yes. Less acreage, but with a house that was valued at $200,000. Believe me,
I know you.
So the first motion, if the board chooses, would be to declare it surplus.
I move to declare it surplus.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I have some questions.
Okay.
So where did you get your appraisal from? You said you did the informal appraisal?
I got it from King Realty.
Okay. Thank you very much, and I'm glad that Mr. Lott went to King Realty to get that appraisal, because I do believe that, it is Chiefland property. I think that, they're local and they're Chiefland, and I would certainly be very supportive of using them, because they are with Chiefland. And I know this is discussion before we vote, but I just really want to clear the air that I would like for this money, this Chiefland property, when it does sell, it is absolutely used at Chiefland School. Right, Ms. Lake? That would go 100% into Chiefland schools.
If the decision is mine, then that's the decision I would make.
Right, and is that correct? Those are things that we can say, Mr. Cowart, and that it can go in there?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair, so that's the board can decide that, and we use those dollars, so yes, ma'am.
Okay, for Chiefland schools to make
I
the
rise to a
decision.
point of order. I think we need to go ahead and vote on whether we're going to
We're in
declare it surplus
discussion period.
before we sell it and say where it's going.
Discussion period.
This is not relevant conversation
Okay, but we'll discuss
to the
that
motion at hand.
We'll discuss that further later then. I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes to declare it surplus property. Okay?
Now, I would further move that we list this with a Chiefland real estate agent to accept. I would like it be offered much more than this, but I'm not, we don't accept below $125,000.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to say it.
So
Hey, list it higher.
listed at $175,000,
Yeah.
and then come down 125
If we have to
minimal?
come down.
Yeah, to take no less than 125.
Take no less than 125.
Can I remind
I don't know if we can even do that.
Yes, that's correct.
that
Thank you.
any potential buyers are probably going to watch this videotape, and let's go with the recommendation that we
Yeah, but I want to be rough that way.
that we
Rough.
list it in an attempt to dispose of it in the best interest of the district. So we are not establishing a floor or a bottom line price right now. We're going to work with our realtor and create a market and get the best possible price for it.
How about that? I move we list it with a Chiefland realtor to get us the best price possible.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Since we are, I didn't say all in favor yet, so, but when we are discussing, we are Chiefland Realtor, it is interesting, we want that clear to Chiefland schools. That's just.
I would
all wanna
ordinarily
say.
be for that. However,
No.
I lived through selling a whole bunch of Bronson property. None of it stayed in Bronson.
I guess you didn't argue that point.
It wasn't offered to me to do that point.
Being a new
Now-
school
now
board
that
member,
being
can you
said,
explain the history about how school sales
That being
are related?
said, I can say some.
That being said, I have no problem with it going to Chiefland because just like then, I felt like it should stay in that town.
Thank you.
But now, if we ever do come into any money, I'd appreciate a little reciprocal action back in poor old Bronson. Because I know where there's a new school, got a lot of that Bronson money, so we'd appreciate a little pat back.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes to list it. Thank you very much, Mr. Lott.
You knew I was gonna have to say that.
All right. At this time, no, I'm not skipping anything with our, am I? We have public comments, and we welcome everyone that's here, and we appreciate you coming. And if you anything you'd like to say or bring to the board, we'd love to hear you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Andrew Gouda.
Hello. Hi.
And I'm a resident of Cedar Key, and I serve on the Cedar Key School Advisory Committee. And we recently drafted a letter that we sent to the board, and I'm just coming up here to read that letter. So, the Cedar Key School Advisory Committee respectfully requests that the Levy County School Board consider and act upon the following concerns noted in our ongoing review of student performance data. Many students are scoring below average. This may be due to the lack of parental involvement in education. We have reviewed how parents receive information and find it may be best to go back to basics when interacting with families. There's a digital divide, which many of you are aware of. Approximately 70% of Levy County residents do not have reliable internet services. Another challenge is the lack of devices in homes that are larger than a cell phone screens that can display more complex information. Viewing detailed and complex student progress reports documents on a smartphone is not a user-friendly option for parental engagement, nor is expecting students to complete required computer-aided learning assignments on a cell phone. This situation does not allow students and parents to easily view school-related documents posted on websites such as Remind, Skyward, or Facebook. Even if these residents have higher speed internet capacity, a significant percentage of these residents do not own a device that can actually display the school documents in a user-friendly resolution due to their digital size or the complexity of these documents. And some parents do not spend time on social media where events are posted. Viewing detailed and complex documents, PDFs, and spreadsheets on a smartphone is not a viable option and does not allow these county residents access to these critical school documents and school events. Parents are not getting information that pertains to their children's success in school, events, sports, classroom situations, learning assignments, homework, and progress reports. Additionally, the situation where parents are intimidated by what we consider routine and normal school-related correspondence interaction can lead to a generational lack of capacity, a basic comfort and understanding and acceptance of routine educational protocols involving a parent's role in their children's education. The affected student's academic oversight is then neglected due to this unfortunate situation and can often have the outcome where students become dismissive of their education because of their parents' situation. And this spirals into an intergenerational loss and a lack of basic elementary and subsequent high school education. While this is not an intention of the Levy County School Board, administrators, and teachers in our school district, this situation creates a disenfranchising environment that does not serve these vulnerable demographic families and can even be seen as an unintentional type of discrimination or unequal treatment due to this access or lack of access. If it is true that parents are needed by effective schools as partners in education, then it is also true that alternatives must be pursued when caregivers do not regularly or positively respond to what school personnel consider routine correspondence and interaction. Some may lack information to encourage their child to engage in activities. One key school performance indicator is that children are expected to pass state reading testing by the end of 3rd grade or they will be retained. This year, not only is the reading test new, it must also be totally done on a computer. Interventions are provided by classroom teachers, reading specialists, yet these are the same children who cannot practice at home due to their lack of computer, internet, or parental assistance. So retention is not an intervention. The Cedar Key School Advisory Committee respectfully requests that the Levy County School Board consider this situation and provide a means and a way for these particular families and students to engage with teachers to ensure the best success for our Levy County primary and secondary school students. Ideas to remedy this include, but are not limited to, identifying the families with these needs and providing either printed materials or computers that can be used at their homes for these connections. Exploring hotspot connections for students without access. Perhaps pursuing a grant to get our rural county broadband internet services. Providing a form of mentoring with counselors that can relate to the parents and offer support in helping them oversee their children's schoolwork, progress, and interactions with their teachers. Having devices sent to one parent liaison in a neighborhood who checks on, coordinates, informs, and assists others to engage with their children's schoolwork. Having a homework club.
I'm just letting you know we're at 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I got 3 paragraphs. Having a homework club after school where students can go to complete assignments and parents can be encouraged to visit to learn how to best help their child at home would be an option to engage parents in education. Sending home paper documents regarding what is happening at school regarding classwork, school, after-school activities, and volunteer opportunities, etc., are all some of the thoughts that we considered. Our island school community stands to suffer unintended consequences for mandates that are beyond their scope to address without mitigation from the school board. The Cedar Key School Advisory Committee stands willing to assist in this effort. And thank you for allowing me to read this.
Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew.
And thank you for the extra time.
And thank you for coming to our board meeting tonight. We appreciate that. Board members, have you had a chance to read over the minutes of the March 28th meeting?
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes to approve the minutes of the March 28th meeting. Thank you very much. I'll start with Mr. Whitehurst and ask if you have any questions.
Not this time.
Okay.
Mine were all answered.
Mr. Aswell?
The only thing I had questions about, Mr. Cowart, and I discussed it, it's all set. We're good.
Thank you. Ms. Boyle?
Mr. Cowart and I spoke early this morning. All my questions were answered.
And we do appreciate Mr. Cowart checking and going over those consent items with us for our board meetings. Thank you very much. Do I hear a motion to approve our consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. Thank you. Our finance items on our consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions?
No, Madam Chair.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda finance items is approved. Thank you very much. Mr. Cowart, do you have any comments?
Just a few, I'll be brief tonight, so just appreciate everybody. Really enjoyed Master Board training. Always enjoy that. It gives us an opportunity just to get closer, to get to know each other, and to figure out ways to work better with each other. So I appreciate that opportunity, appreciate each of you being here, and appreciate FSBA facilitating that. So I know that when we go, and I know it's been said over and over, this board and superintendent have worked well for many, many years, and we're thankful that when we go and we witness some of the behaviors in other districts, that we don't have that. And I know everybody's heart and intent is for the betterment of our students and our staff, so I thank you all for that. I'll speak just a little bit, and I wish Mr. Andrew and Ms. Lori wouldn't have left. So with that, some of the things that they talked about there, where they were talking about devices and things, if you remember back in COVID days, we dispatched buses. We put buses at Rosewood Baptist Church. We put buses at the Catholic Church. And the usage of those devices was extremely low, almost non-existent. So I hear their plea, and I'm thankful. Cedar Key has a really outstanding SAC. They're very involved. Their PTO is very, very involved. So I thank them for their comments and their letter. I think there are avenues that school can share with them to work with those parents to get them the documents that they need. So, and if there's anything that the district can do to assist in any of those, we will obviously be ready to help with that. It's unfortunate our hands are tied. The state does testing on the computer, so a third grader is going to be on the computer to do the testing. So I know when they have an accommodation that changes, that gives us a student because of some type of learning need that they have paper and pencil. I think this board has been very, very vocal in Tallahassee throughout the years with talking about helping support, whether it's the co-op, whether it's AT&T, whoever it may be, to help create access to there. I would beg to question, I believe Remind and Facebook has been really, really good for our district, and it is used to communicate, and can be accessed on a cell phone, and is what everybody has. This may be a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think the comment was made to me, if we posted on Facebook that we were given $100 of bills, I think we'd have a line out the door, to make sure. So I think those that want access, they have access, but if there's those that want access and they're not getting it, we will meet that need. So I don't take that letter lightly. The last thing that I leave you with is we're in that time period of the school year where banquets will start. We've had state championships, we've got FFA conventions heading our way, we've got testing that started this week, and all in that we're a family. We have a lot of staff that are hurting. We have staff that are dealing with some major illnesses. I don't want to divulge anything. Some know, some here are known to us personally. And we've also had some staff who've lost some loved ones, and taken some extended time. So I just want to thank Mr. Masters. His department's been hit hard with some of that, but there's some other places where, so if you will, just keep our staff in your prayers, because there's been a lot of illness and a lot of death here in Levy County recently. And you just need to lift them up. So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cowart. Mr. Wires?
I agree with Mr. Cowart. I like his comments about the Cedar Key. Like I say, it's something that we're trying to push the broadband, and like I say, people, we're doing the best we can with the restrictions we have. Certainly, was glad to see the basketball team come. Like I say, that was the first one for Williston. I don't know if it's first for Levy County.
It's actually the second. So Cedar Key Sharks.
Cedar Key.
We're state champions. So.
Way back, okay.
Back in the 60s. So.
Back 60s. Oh, good deal. So we brought home the second one. So it was good to see men, and then Miss Harris. It was good to see her back. I know she had, like I said, when she talked about it, her illness with her son, and it was a good presentation. And certainly CTE is, I feel, something very important that we need to push, and we are continuing to push Miss Taylor, and like I said, not everybody's college material, but we need to give people avenues that want to work with their hands or want to, go in the field that's more technical. That they have the opportunity and be able to foster that at a younger age, not wait until after school or after they graduate and having to get a job to learn these skills. They're going to come in graduated with these skills to make them even more employable and get higher wages, and certainly what we need in Levy County. So I'm just happy for all that, and that's all I got to say.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clancy.
I'll echo what you guys said. I was dreading master board training, I'll just say it. I was just dreading, but once I got there, I thoroughly enjoyed it like I do every year. I find out something different about all of you guys, even Devin this year. But I enjoyed it, and I think it's very beneficial for us to always be a united front, and that just makes us, I just feel like we always leave closer than what we entered. So again, I love Skipper and Miss Harris's presentation. I mean, you could look at Carly Legler, and she's not going to be a vet tech. There's no doubt she's going to be a vet. I mean, just the excitement on her face, and for her to find a passion as a junior.
Yeah.
Was just wonderful. I think that's so important. I talked to Miss Westfall this morning, and the countdown is on for the end of the year. So they're in full swing math camps with Miss McBride, who is one of the teachers I just wish we could clone for every school. She's amazing, and doing a lot of refreshers right now. So we're about to wrap it all up with banquets and end of the year, and we're in the home stretch. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Ashford?
I'd like to thank the superintendent. for bringing it up. We do have a lot of people who are hurting. They're struggling. And I've said it before, I still say it. We may have our disagreements, we may fuss, but you know, we're one big old family. And that's what we are. And I think it's cool that we support each other. And, you know, without telling anybody's business, but a lot of people are hurting, and your prayers for them and your concerns for them are greatly appreciated. And I like to believe I'm a living example of the power of the prayer of this community. As I've witnessed it, and I believe all those folks we're praying for are going to be healed, and they're going to come through this little storm a whole lot better off on the other side. And I think I'm not the only one in this room that has been the recipient of those prayers, and I'm not the only one in this room that believes they really work. As far as Bronson, the Bronson boys weightlifting team did win district weightlifting championship, went on to compete at regionals. We have 4 that are moving on to state, and I think Mr. Miller summed it up well. We are the smallest school that competes in that, and up against much bigger schools, and to throw 4 in against so many others, that's a pretty heck of a thing. We have multiple kids that are finalists for state FFA proficiency awards in Bronson. The Lane kids and Carson Meeks. If you've ever spent any time around Bronson, we have farms, but we don't have big family farms. These are kids that have found a way to make their niche in ag sales and service and things like that, and it's really, really impressive. And I kind of like Miss Clemenzi. I hate master board training. I despise it. I despise any of that stuff because it really takes me away from my office at a very important time of the year for me. I'm kind of busy. And what I really hate about it is I find out more about myself. I'm a terrible person. I mean, I'd hate to work with me, but I'm thrilled to death I get to work with y'all. And I agree. I always learn about it. And it's kind of strange in that we have these not silly, they are important, but, you know, the sunshine laws. We can't really talk about a lot of things, you know, and we are busy people in our own lives. We're all at different stages in life, and we all have hectic things. And that's one opportunity. We really get to know each other. Nobody else would admit this, but I'll admit this. The only reason I go to the FSBA conferences is to go eat with y'all, because I get to know y'all better. Up here, we don't get to know each other. That's one of the highlights of the whole thing to me. I can sit in those boring classes and go on and learn about that, but the reality is I like learning about y'all, and I want to know, you know, well, the state of Florida won't let me do this, but if I had 20 more years on here, I don't think I'd know enough about my fellow board members, and that's the good thing about master board training. That's that. But now I also think, and I've said this before, we expect our teachers to do professional development. We expect our service people, our maintenance people to continue their educations. That is our education. That makes us better at being school board members. So I think it would be wrong of us not to do those things, even though we hate them, because we expect it out of others. And if, for lack of a better term, if leadership doesn't do it, we can't expect others to do it. That's right. And so that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashford. Ms. Boyle?
I liked master board training.
Well, you're just strange.
That's what y'all found out.
That's right.
I will say, the first time around, it was a little intimidating, and you know, I don't know how you felt, Evan, but I remember how I felt the very first time. But it is a way to kind of get, I think, the inner spirits of each other together, and just learn about each other. So I like the psychology behind it.
Y'all been very nice to me. I appreciate it. You and him.
I talked to Mrs. Lawrence earlier, and she said the 10th grade, I think there was only one absent 10th grader. I know that's not a lot down there, but they did their ELA rights today, and they were very happy. It went very smoothly. And also Tammy Jones from Levy County Elections Office, she was down there and she met with the 4th and 5th grade. And I think that's a great process, going around to the schools and what she does and the knowledge that she brings, you know, the kids. I love that she does that. A big shout out to Breezy back there, who's sitting so quietly. thank you for everything that you've done. The playgrounds in Cedar Key, the community pulled together and did raise a lot of funds, and without Breezy, they wouldn't be being installed. So appreciate everything that you've done and pulling away from some other jobs and helping down there. That means a lot. And it does to the kids too, because they're just dying to get that equipment. There is, I just ask for your prayers for one family down there. I won't mention any names, but they did lose everything in a fire. And don't believe there's housing yet, but we're looking at that and working together and then seeing what kind of needs. But your prayers, I can't even imagine to lose everything, and at a young age. And let's see, the festival was slow but nice. I mean, we didn't sell out of burgers, but we had fun. I know Mr. Cowart flipped a couple boxes full of burgers. And looking forward to the home stretch, as Ms. Clemenzi put it. Looking forward to the graduations, and it's that's just a happy time. So, and that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Everyone's mentioned the end, and we get super, super busy, and we're at that point. But, Mr. Cowart, are we still doing our Tallahassee trip as a board to?
I'm working on, so that when they go into conference, so not this coming week, but the next week. So, yes.
Okay, I just want to.
I've been in contact with Ms. McDougal with that today, matter of fact, so yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. And then I would like to share with everyone, especially anyone, Max, that graduated from Chiefland High School, that, we're at the very end of that wonderful, fabulous school that is beautiful, 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 and they're getting ready to tear the gym down. And so you will have the opportunity to buy a piece of history, some bricks, and Chiefland High School is selling the bricks from the gym, and you can pre-buy, pre-sale, and build you a little driveway, walkway, anything you like. But you will have the opportunity to buy the bricks, and they are selling them at the school. Linda Jones are doing pre-sale only, so that they can kind of know what's happening and what we're doing. And then also tomorrow, Chiefland Rotary Club is going to go and view the new gym. We're going to meet in the back, go in the back way, and I would like to invite all the board members to go if you would like to go. You're welcome to come have lunch with us at 12, and then we're going to eat really quick, and we'll meet at gathering table and then go to the school, and we're going to go in the back way. We'd love to have you come, and we're going to tour the new gym, and it's completely finished. The floor is gorgeous. Would love the opportunity to show it off. So, David, you want to take time out of your busy day? We would love to have you.
I will check my schedule. I would love to be there. I'll make sure to take my shoes off so I don't
Right. But anyone that's
Sneakers allowed on the court.
Yeah.
Kelly back and talking about.
Yeah, well, that's good. But if you can, I'd be happy to pass out one. I only have a couple of copies, but I'll get you some more. And if you want to, anybody wants to share that and promote, yeah, I'll give you that. I'll do another one. So I think those are exciting times, and looking forward to moving ahead. And thank you for an excellent board meeting. And if there's not anything else, meeting adjourned.